Hello, everybody.
So again, I did get it working. Can you hear me, Lori? Lori, can you hear me? All right, I guess you can't hear me, so it's okay. We've got it going both directions. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's test Ms. French. Ms. French, I saw your mouth move, but I didn't hear you. Let me hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can. All right. I do want to let you know that I'm live streaming our hearing. We were set up to do that, which is why I was trying to talk to Lori because we weren't sure we were going to have access to the courthouse or the courtroom. So I went ahead, this being my final on the record hearing for the 394th. I decided to go ahead and live stream it. So I appreciate the two of you, if you're willing to allow me to do that, agreeing with that. All right. Well, after 12 years and about 10,000 of these, you have the luck of being my final remote proceeding on the 394th. And it couldn't be better as I make the announcement of the name of the case. This is cause 24-378 in the matter of Pepe Le Pew and the Business Trust. I call for announcements.
Julie Balovich on behalf of Leslie French.
All right. Do you need to have your client testify in our hearing today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. French, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand, hold it up where I can see it. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you'll give in our hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Lower your hand. All right, Ms. Balovich, this is a trust issue. I know that those can be a little bit complex. Why don't you go ahead and give me brief opening and argument together here, letting me know what it is that I'm looking at and what you're asking me to do.
Yes, Your Honor. And all of the exhibits today are attached to the amended petition, which was filed on December 9th, 2024. If you allow me to share my screen, I can go through those exhibits unless the court has access to them.
I'm looking at them right now. If you wish to share a screen, you are free to do so.
Okay.
But you can just direct my attention to the appropriate page and I will definitely have it ready to go.
Very good, Your Honor. So my client is the administrator of the estate of the late Catherine French King. Ms. King was a resident of Brewster County. She died intestate. My client was appointed independent administrator with the agreement of all of the beneficiaries. The sole significant asset of the estate is a homestead that belonged to Ms. King, which in 1996 she placed in an irrevocable trust. My client has located the original trust document. There's a sworn affidavit which has been recorded in the deed records that attests to the existence of the trust and its validity. The trust does not name a successor trustee. It provided that it would have terminated in 25 years, but apparently, nothing happened as far as the trust assets being distributed at that point. So unless my client is able to have a successor trustee appointed, this asset cannot be managed. It remains in a trust that has no living trustee. The sole beneficiary of the trust was the certificate holders. Ms. King, who passed away, was apparently the sole certificate holder. So basically what we're seeking is for my client to be appointed successor trustee so that she has the ability to distribute that asset out of the trust.
All right, go ahead.
Ms. French, please state your name.
Leslie French.
And what was your relationship with Catherine French King?
She was my stepsister.
And Ms. King passed away on September 4th, 2024?
Correct.
At the time of her death, was Brewster County her residence?
Correct.
And your sister passed away without a will, is that right?
Correct.
And you initiated an application for heirship determination and to have an independent administrator appointed?
Yes.
And Your Honor, I'd asked the court to admit Exhibit A and Exhibit B, the judgment of heirship and letters of administration, which were entered in Brewster County on November 19th, 2024.
Those are admitted.
And as independent administrator, you were not required to post a bond, is that correct?
Correct.
And as administrator in your duties, did you determine that the homestead that Ms. King resided at 24 Sierra Vista Lane in Alpine had been conveyed to an irrevocable trust back in 1996?
Yes, and it's 25 Sierra Vista Road.
Thank you for correcting me. Your Honor, I would ask the court to admit Exhibit C, which is the warranty deed signed by Ms. King, conveying the property at 25 Sierra Vista Lane into the Pepe Le Pew Business Trust.
That is admitted.
Okay. Now, did you locate the original trust document for the Pepe Le Pew Business Trust?
Yes,
Okay. And that was in a briefcase that your sister had in her possession at her death?
yes,
And Your Honor, I'd ask the court to admit Exhibit D, which is the original trust document that my client located.
Exhibit D is admitted.
Okay. The Pepe Le Pew Business Trust, by the way, what was the significance of Pepe Le Pew?
that was a horse.
Okay. Your sister owned stallions and managed stallions, is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
she loved horses and donkeys.
Okay. Now this contract by its terms is an irrevocable trust, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, and Your Honor, that would be found at page 2 of the trust document, which is Exhibit D. Let's see. Just the middle paragraph of Exhibit 2.
Is it the one that starts with the exchanger or the one that starts the creator hereby?
It was the one that starts, I highlighted it. Page 2, the creator hereby constitutes and appoints the first trustee. The fifth
Got
line
it.
down says it's a trust irrevocable.
Mhm.
See, the court is kept. The next paragraph released the creator so that the sole other party to this was the trustee. And according to this document, your sister was the sole trustee. Is that correct, Ms. French?
correct, correct.
Okay. And then if the court looks down to page 4 of the document, the third paragraph from the bottom indicates that the trustee and successor trustee shall serve without fidelity bond. And then if the court looks to page 3 of the document, the middle paragraph that begins provided further indicates that in the event of death, the trustee shall appoint or elect a successor by the concurrence of the remaining trustees. Now, in your review of all of your sister's documents, did you find any minutes that indicated other trustees other than your sister, Ms. French?
I did not.
And in your review of the trust documents, did you find anything indicating that this trust document had been amended or modified or otherwise provided for any other disposition in the event of your sister's death?
No, I did not.
Okay. And then I would point the court to page 5 of the trust document. And on page 5 of the trust document, it indicates, I'm sorry, page 6 of the trust document, the middle paragraph says that the business trust shall continue for a period of 25 years from the date of execution. And did you find anything indicating that trust assets had been distributed after 25 years?
No, they did not.
Okay. And then at the top of page 26 of the trust document, it indicated that the trust certificates should be divided into 100 units for certificate holders. Did you find any indication that your sister had conveyed or had identified any other certificate holders other than herself?
I did not.
Okay. So at this point, Ms. French, is there anyone who can manage the trust or deal with the assets since your sister's death?
No,
And in the trust documents, did you find that there was any assets other than the house that had been placed in the trust that still exist in the trust?
no, just the land. That was
Okay.
it, her home.
And have you found any indication that there's any ongoing business of the trust at this time?
There is no business.
Okay. And so are you asking the court to appoint you successor trustee today?
I am.
Okay. And Your Honor, at this time, I have no other questions for Ms. French.
And I have no questions for Ms. French.
So I would ask the court to make findings that this court has jurisdiction and venue in this matter because her sister resided here. The trust was recorded here. The only asset of the trust is recorded here. That my client has, in her capacity as independent administrator, is an interested person to seek appointment of successor trustee, and that she's qualified to be the trustee as the administrator of an estate who's serving without a fidelity bond. We would ask that the court find that there's no longer a purpose for the trust as contemplated by the trust instrument, and that it would be consistent with the intent of the settlor that my client be appointed successor trustee and have the power to distribute the assets. And Your Honor, finally, 114.064 of the trust code allows for costs and attorney's fees to be awarded. I would ask the court to find that it would be appropriate for the attorney's fees and costs that my client incurred in seeking the appointment of a successor trustee so she can distribute estate assets to be taxed against the estate of Catherine King.
Can you tell me what roughly the value of the estate assets are? I don't want an exact amount, just roughly.
Roughly $150,000.
All right. All right, the court finds it as venue and jurisdiction. I do find that the applicant is entitled and authorized to seek appointment of as successor trustee as an interested person. I find that the four corners of the trust necessitate court intervention given the absence of provision for appointment of a successor trustee in the law's intent to favor continuation and effectuation of these types of trusts. I find that the trust is liquid and has value, which further necessitates court intervention to protect those assets. I do find that Ms. French is qualified to serve as trustee. Given the testimony I've heard, I find there is no necessity of continuation of the trust. Therefore, I will grant the requested relief. I appoint Ms. French as successor trustee of the Pepe Business Trust to serve without bond, and I modify the trust as requested to permit distribution of the assets to the estate of Catherine French King. I will authorize the payment of fees and expenses in pursuing this matter to be paid from the assets of the trust, whether before or after distribution by the trustee to the estate. I don't want to step on the toes of any lower court dealing with the probate issue, but I am going to order that those are to be paid, and the lower court will honor this Superior Court's order. All right, are there any additional findings you need other than my signature on your proposed order?
No, Your Honor, I believe that's it.
All right, then it is so ordered. All right, Ms. French, best of luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Balovich.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused? That's all the business I have.
You are both excused. Take care.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, Lori, I believe our next matter is a chambers matter, so it is not on the record or open to public review, correct?
That's correct, Judge.
Well, that being said, excuse me, it's time to sign off on what is the last live stream of thousands of 394th Judicial District Court. So for everyone who has watched and hopefully learned something about the justice system and the judicial system, I thank you for watching, and I hope we did something to raise the level of respect, both the legal profession, the judiciary, and the quality of the justice system. It's a great system. Every system has its flaws, but the fact is it's a fantastic system, It is filled with people who care about their jobs from top to bottom. And so I'm grateful to all of them, just as I'm grateful to all of you. So we are, for the last time, off the record.
I love you guys. Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.